Welcome everybody to another video with Area of Effect Gaming. Today we're going to be changing gears and talking about a new game. It's one I've been playing for a couple weeks now. It came out into iOS about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Um, it is a very interesting game, and I look forward to getting into it. But we're going to basically cover tips, tricks, things you need to know, things that help you be a better alliance mate, stuff like that. Just things I've kind of picked up in my first 3 weeks that I think would really help new players. And make sure you stick around because the last item I will be covering is how to get resources, and that is the main bottleneck in this game. Also, I'm going to show you my formation guide that I've put together. It's not completely done yet, but it's good enough to show. And I'll also add a link for it in the description. But it's a Sheets document. It's fully editable by anybody. So, if you have heroes that I don't have information for, by all means, help me fill it in. Especially those players that are in Season 2, Season 3, that have the heroes that I can't see yet because I'm only in Season 1. So I would appreciate that greatly. But anyway, I won't take any more of your time. If you like what I tell you today and what I show you, don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on that notification bell. I'm popping in for a quick second to thank you again for watching and to welcome you to this video on the Area of Effect Gaming channel. Please consider leaving a like and subscribing if I earned it. Now back to the video. All right, this segment is going to cover how to create an account and how to switch between characters, roles, and accounts. So the game has a couple different, calls it different things in different places, which it can be confusing at times. But basically, your account is at the highest level, and you go here in your profile. And if you want to look at those, you go into your profile, go into settings, go to account, and at this screen you can see uh, role management and bind and switch accounts. So let's say your account is the highest level. Let's say that's associated with an email address, seeing that as I've got it linked with Google, right? So you can have multiple accounts and bind them to different things. So I could have an account with Facebook, account with, the whatever this is. I think that's the game developer's account. So you could have, multiple accounts. There's no purpose to having an extra account on a server because you can't attack it for resources. Attacking a base does not yield you resources. The only thing it does is if you destroy the base, it teleports the base randomly away. So that can be strategically needed sometimes if the person's guarding a gate or something and you want to gang up on them and get rid of them. But other than that, absolutely no need. You can't farm a base, so it's not needed. But you can switch accounts if you wanted to for some reason. But your main thing that you're going to be focusing on is managing your roles. So in this game, it considers a role as your account on any particular, or as your instance on a particular server. You can only have one role on each server. Um, but as far as I can tell thus far, you can be on as many servers as you want to be. You can just only have one on each server. So as you see here, I've got a couple different accounts on different servers. I started on 62, and then I didn't like how it was going, so I started over, and I was on 68. And I've since gone back and created accounts on 67, 69, and 70. 70 being the newest server. 71 should launch any day now. I thought it would launch this morning, but it didn't. You can just very easily at this interface switch between your accounts. Just click and it'll load the account and it'll bring you into your base and you can start doing whatever you got to do. So because this game is so simple, it doesn't have build times, it doesn't have individualized research, it doesn't have those things. So once you've done your dailies, and if you're not in the middle of a war and it doesn't require your time, you've got time on your hands. So you can switch to another account and play that account. So it's very common in this game for people to have two primary accounts. I have multiple because I'm recruiting for another jump. We unfortunately on 68 have a bully that likes to spend his money to terrorize everybody. So we are planning on jumping at the end of the season, I think. So I've got feelers out on other servers trying to collect other people that are maybe not happy on their server and want to jump. And by jump, I mean just create a new role on a new server and start over. That is very easily how you switch between accounts. Now, if you wanted to create that new account like I was talking about, you can see it on the menu here. It's very obvious. It's a giant green plus. It says create new roles. So you'll basically be creating a new role, and then it will give you the list of available servers. So at this time, I'm on these servers. I can't go to one of these. I'd have to go to one of the others. Now, I'm not going to do that because I don't want to currently right now. Um, but when 71 comes out, I'll put an account on that server and I'll go through this process to do that. So that is how you create a new role and then switch between roles and how you bind and switch your accounts. If you have any questions that I didn't cover, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I hope this information was helpful. All right, this segment we're going to cover teleports, how to buy them, how to use them. The two main ways you're going to get your teleports is in the Alliance store. Oh, I got ads. You're going to go into your Alliance and go to the store, and you're going to spend your Alliance currency or Alliance credits, however you want to call them. You get every 6 days or so, it refreshes, and you can buy up to 4 teleports. It might be 6 or more, depending on your Alliance level. I'm not sure if 8 or 9 is the max here. It may be. So there may be just a max of 4. So every 6 days you can buy 4 Alliance teleports from the Alliance store. I recommend doing that. You can also get them from the black market or the trade station, going to the trophy exchange. Here they're a little bit more expensive to get more than one. So don't buy them here on the second tier unless you really have to. So this one is 4,000 trophies to buy, and this one is 6. So basically it's like 2 different tiers of purchase. So I bought this one for 4,000 trophies. And again, trophies is the reward for engaging in combat and killing troops. And you get them in a certain ratio depending on your strength relative to the opponent. And this refreshes on the same time scale. It's like every 6 days. So that's another place where you can buy teleports. Now, to technically, you can't buy these teleports, but you can use gold and credits to teleport. It's not something you can, just buy them with. The system just offers you the option to use them if you do not have the required teleport that you need. So let's say I wanted to teleport over here. I'd go up here to my profile, just to the right of it, this little arrow with a toggle target, and click on that, and it brings up all my teleport options. So point-to-point teleport is a very expensive teleport. It comes in a $100 pack. Every player gets one in the beginning of the game, and at some point when you try to join an alliance, it tries to get you to use it. And I want to stress that you do not want to if you do not have to. You should be able to use an alliance teleport if you've joined an alliance and need to go next to the alliance for some reason. But at this point, you have not acquired enough trophies to actually buy an alliance teleport. So the system forces you to use your point to point, which I think is a mistake. You want to avoid it. So what I recommend you do when you get to that point where it wants you to teleport next to your alliance, just close the game and reopen it, and it'll kind of break that tutorial cycle so that it doesn't force you to use the point to point. And then just go out, kill some stuff, get some trophies, or do alliance donations and start buying your first alliance teleports and then move to the alliance if that's what they want. But you don't have to be next to the alliance. If you're really far away, definitely you probably want to move at some point, but the alliance is going to move around. They're going to spread their territory, so they may end up coming to where you're at. So you may just have longer marches, for your first couple days. But that's something every player needs to decide on their own. And then there's an alliance teleport, which can be used anytime you're teleporting to within alliance territory. And then there's a random teleport. I'll be honest, I've never actually seen anybody buy and use one of these. The only time a random teleport is triggered is when your base is destroyed. It teleports you to somewhere else in your zone. But I have not seen a way to buy one. The cross zone teleport is very unique. You don't actually get one. I've never actually seen it say one down here. but you are able to use one within the first 4 days of you being on a new server. So if you zoom, well, actually, you went to the, so if you zoom all the way out, now I won't see it on this account because I don't think I even used it on this account, but you would theoretically have an icon over here on the left that says like cross and then it's got a timer. That is your cross zone teleport option. You have to have your troops home and you can't be in an alliance. And then at that point you can click that and a menu will come up. I'll do another video on that one or another segment. But it'll come up and you'll select the zone that you want to teleport to. Now, I've seen issues. You got to be careful. Like you see how this map is laid out? It's not laid out that way on that menu unless they fixed it. I don't know. I haven't used it in a while. But I tried to select zone 6 on server 70 and it sent me to A5. So, but the map was different. It was laid out differently. So I think layout also has something to do with it and they were just mislabeled. Like I said, I think that was a bug, but do be careful because you only get one of these. But you'll select which zone you want to go to and it will randomly teleport you to somewhere in that zone. And then from there, join an alliance and then use an alliance teleport to get closer to the alliance. That is how you buy teleports and that is how you use teleports. I have two general rules for using teleports. I try to encourage my members not to use them unless they absolutely need to. Like if they're in a very bad area where they can't get to the swarms they need and stuff like that, and the behemoths. And I don't like people to go anywhere unless they have a second to come back. But there are occasions where I will need like people to teleport and to, let's say, hold a gate or something. So that is an option. But if I ask you to use a teleport and you have one, I expect you to use it. Because that's the whole point of the game is to have fun and have combat. So I do try to encourage smart use of teleports because in this particular server, in this particular playthrough, I've been everywhere. I've burned all my teleports. So right now I'm currently stuck. I can't move. I could move because I have gold, but I really don't want to spend my gold. Teleport control is very important, and I hope everybody learns that. All right, in this segment, we're going to talk about trophies, how to get them, and how to spend them. So trophies are acquired in this game pretty much essentially from combat. So you see these your marches or your troop areas, your formations. You'll send these guys out and engage with other players' units in combat. Right? So let's see if we can find somebody that's idle. There's usually always somebody that's idle there. So these guys are still idle. He's been here for a couple days, so he's obviously not online, not playing anymore. But I could take my units and either click on the enemy unit and attack, and it would march my guys all the way over there, and then as soon as they're within range, they would just start attacking. Or I can bring them close and go to, or I could bring them close and auto combat, which means it'll put my guys there, but they won't engage unless engaged. So they won't attack unless they'll only counterattack. But what I like to do, especially early game, because you get the vehicle Lord Burger, which is basically a giant hamburger that shoots fries, which is, I think, the funniest thing ever. But it has a really long range, and it can outrange most of the early game units. So what I like to do is bring them in on an angle to where I'm not engaging the other units. I'm engaging at my maximum combat distance, and then I can just destroy these units with no risk to myself. So that is a strategy that I use very often. And that's a strategy you want to try to use when possible. Because a lot of these people, especially early game, new on a server, they don't know better. They'll just move their troops. They won't put them in auto combat. Putting them in auto combat tells the formation to engage if they've been attacked. Otherwise, they'll just sit there like lame ducks unless they're engaged one-on-one. So if I attack this guy right here, but I am within range of this guy. If they're on auto attack, that guy will attack too. But if I'm out of range and they're not on auto attack, then I'm going to attack this guy and he's not going to fight back because he's not within range. So he's just going to take the beating and be destroyed. And trophies you get for killing basically the formation, killing the troops within the formation. So here you've got I've got 4,900 guys in this particular march, in this formation. So if I were to kill everybody in this particular formation, the 4,900, I would by default get 490 trophies. Now, this can vary on two different factors. One, if you're equal or higher in level and power to the person you're attacking. If you're lower than they are, you're going to get a higher return. Like you may get more than 490 trophies because you beat somebody that's considered better than you. Therefore, the game rewards you for taking out their combat units. But in the same coin, on the other side, if I destroy somebody that's weaker than me, I'm going to get less of a return. I may not even get 490. I may only get 300. So the game punishes you for attacking people that are lower than your power or lower than your station level. But that is the way to get trophies and to spend them. You go into your city or base, go into your trade station and go into the trophy exchange, and you can spend them here. I normally recommend, sticking with the yellow crystals, the drop pods, and the Alliance teleport on the first level. I will occasionally get experience, but only if I've got a whole lot of trophies, which I haven't had yet. So be mindful. Make sure you always get your Alliance teleport, especially early game, because you'll need your teleports later, and your drop pods and your yellow crystals. But that's where you spend that currency. And that is basically a main function of the game. Once you get to where everyone's conquered the territories and we're just waiting for the server season to finish, that's all you do. You go around and trophy hunt with everybody and try to kill each other's troops. So it's a main portion of the game. So I hope you enjoy it. And now that you know how to spend the currency and gain the currency, I want to see more of you doing it. All right, this segment is for biohacking your hero. So if you don't know what biohacking is, it's one of the ways to increase the march size of your formations, which are these things down here. So to biohack, you need the yellow crystals. We've talked about it. A currency that you need to unlock these heroes to biohack. So I've got all of these biohacked except for Smith here, which is the Fallout looking guy. So if a hero is biohacked, this icon up here is the biohack symbol. If it's not biohacked, it is like grayed out. If it is biohacked, it's all luminous like this one is. And if you click on it, biohacking it adds a specific set of an extra skill for a chance to proc, which in this case it's recovering charge points, which is the skill cooldown period pretty much. But another added benefit of all biohacks is that for every 5 levels the hero is upgraded, that march or that formation gains a troop capacity of 200. So this hero's 30. That's divisible by 5 6 times. So that's 6 times 200. That is 1,200 troop capacity. So 1,200 of this 4,400 troop capacity is just because he's biohacked. And now we'll go to a non-biohacked hero so you can see that side of the things. So Smith, I do not have biohacked. It specifically says not biohacked, and again, the icon's grayed out. So if I click on it, it tells me what skill it would gain if I biohack him. And then it also says for every 10 levels, this hero increases troop capacity by 100. Now it varies by hero, whether they do 100 or 200. And I think it's based on this number over here. The higher quality hero it is, the greater number. So Gene was a 5, I think, and he's a 3. So I'd have to look at a 4 and see. But that, I think, is the general idea. But so you see down here, it says 28 out of 100 yellow crystals is what I need, or I need 100 yellow crystals to biohack this character. Um, each of the characters takes a different amount of crystals to biohack, and that's all dependent on their command cap. So this guy's 3, so he's 100. If it was a 2, actually, I don't even think there's any heroes that are 2. Um, so a 4 would be like 140, and then 5 is 200. You know, this, that, and the other thing. So each one will tell you how much it costs. So once you accumulate enough of those, you can biohack the hero and gain that troop capacity increase. Now, to get crystals, there are many methods in the game. You can get them, the most common 2 ways to get them are through the drop chests, the little chests that you can buy from the store. Let's see if I can pull that up. So I can buy another one right now because it's half price. So these drops, the regular drop pod is on sale twice a day. So it's on sale, so I'm going to go ahead and buy it. And if you have a lot of extra gold and you want to spend it, you can get a better deal than the normal price by doing 3-in-1. It's basically 3 chests bundled together. But if every single pod you get has a chance to drop 3 or 4, unless you get a legendary hero. I can't remember if they drop even when you get a legendary hero or weapon or vehicle. It may just, if it procs one of those, it may just not give you one. But the most common result out of opening these pods is the yellow crystals. And you can see my count for crystals up here. It's on the store screen. You can see the currency is at 28. And you can hold a maximum of 60 pods in your base. So you really don't want to hold more than that. And I actually recommend, because the first couple days, you don't have, it's a particular event. For the first couple days, you don't have, and now my game's going to crap out on me. There it goes. Okay, so for the first couple days, this thing is not here. This extra reward. So if you want to be super efficient, you can save yours until you get this, because all opened pods count towards an extra reward, which basically means when you get 80 and you've opened 80, then you get to click on this and you get to choose one of these heroes or vehicles or weapons. As you can see, I bought Siren this round. The last time I bought it. That is a very good thing to be able to get a free hero every once in a while. And these reset. Okay, so they change their, I guess, their store every couple of days. But your count does not reset. It carries over into the next one. So you could just save your reward if you wanted to for the next one if you wanted a different hero than what's in the current pool. A lot of games kind of do this. They have something like this, either a recruiting ticket system or something like that. This is this game's version of that. And you can always click on the information tab up here and get more information. The little eyes will give you pointers, so get used to hitting the eyes. It will tell you everything you need to know. I actually, if I analyze 2 more, I'm guaranteed to get a legendary unit. So it says right there. So there's 2 rewards. There's the regular system, which you open a certain amount and you're guaranteed a legendary hero. But then there's this extra reward where you can pick one. So I'm actually about to unlock the regular one. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a 3-in-1. I'm going to buy it. I'm going to spend my 888 and I'm going to buy it. And we only needed 2 more, so we're going to go ahead and open that. Now it took one of my R2s from mining this iron or metal to come over here and do that. But anyway, that is, and now that's going to be on a timer, so I'm going to have to wait for it, which is perfectly fine. I'll probably speed it up here in a little bit. But that's how you biohack your heroes, and that's how you get the currency to biohack them. There's also one other way, is this intel. Now I don't have any right now, so my screen is very blank. Actually, yeah, let me change to another account real quick. All right, so I'm on one of my other accounts where I haven't been on today. So you can go into the Intel screen and you see a bunch of these icons floating around, right? So these skull ones are good because you'll get 5 of those a day, and on the 5th one, the reward will be a yellow crystal. but you got to do the 4 previous ones. You can't just do one and it gives you, because they do one at a time and then they respawn. So the higher level you get this intel up, the higher the chance of you getting an Intel quality extraordinary item, which the gold ones will give you a yellow crystal as a reward. And these are very simple. You just go to it and it shows it on the map. And you just click on it and tell it to claim, and it'll send a little robot. It does not send a march. It's not something you need to worry about. It doesn't use one of your robots from inside the city. It's just it sends a drone out to get it and comes back. It's really just a free item game mechanic, but it does require interaction, which I kind of like. I mean, it's a little annoying to have to do it every day, but when they're giving you things for free, you got to take them. But that's how you get yellow crystals. And there are also, I've talked about the store in other areas. If I can get back into the base here. The trader, you can get the crystals from the trophy exchange here. And you can get them, I think, from the Alliance store. Let me double check real quick. Yes, you can get them from the Alliance store too. So there's plenty of ways to get crystals. And it's just an overtime thing. You got to focus on where to spend your crystals. If you don't know, ask. There are certain heroes that you want to have your biohack on first. Like for me, Gene was a must. Now I didn't have him when I first started, so he wasn't my first hero to biohack. I biohacked Yukiko first, because Yukiko is crazy. She does early game, she's great DPS, and I still use her. She's great DPS, especially with Porcupine and Power Amplifier. But biohacking her was great. It gave me an early game head start. So there are certain heroes that you want to focus on biohacking, especially if you have their combos set up. Like if you've got Yukiko, Porcupine, and Power Amplifier, that's a set. Those are a recommended hero vehicle weapon combination. So they're very effective together. So biohacking them makes them even more dangerous. And I'll cover my formation guide in another segment. But yeah, that's what you want to keep a lookout, and that's how you do biohacking and crystals. And that's the end of this section. Thank you. All right, this segment we're going to cover territory, how to take it, and the things on the map that you can engage with. And we're going to start with general territory movement. So the basic concept of the game is your alliance will start in one of the 6 starting zones. And when you put your alliance headquarters down, you can do it in this area on any level 1 tile. So it's very confusing. Some of these are level 7, but they look like 1. But you can see this 1 is next to the 7. So the 7 has that hook and it's really diagonal. And the 1 is still diagonal, but it's mostly straight. So any level 1 tile can take a landing zone headquarters. All right, so that is a major tactic that we use in combat to destroy another headquarters. Is if you put down your alliance headquarters and you don't take all the level 1 areas around it, then somebody can just port their headquarters down, and the headquarters is unique. You can use an alliance teleport on an in progress headquarters area. And I'm not sure you may be able to do it on regular areas, but I know for sure you can do it on headquarters areas, because they want you to be able to put the headquarters down and then build it. So they let you teleport to it using an alliance teleport. So that is a combat strategy. Port in on somebody that has left their headquarters exposed, and then destroy the headquarters. Because when you destroy the headquarters, if it's not linked to another headquarters, like in area B here, we have a headquarters as well. That's called the hot zone, and we have a hot zone headquarters. So the goal is to connect your existing territory to that hot zone as quick as possible, so that in the event that your landing zone headquarters is destroyed, you still have connectivity to the rest of your territory. Now, when you lose connection to the rest of your territory, it will go gray and it won't have your alliance color, and you will no longer be gaining the resources that it generates for you or for your alliance. So it is crucial that you keep that stuff alive. But with that said, you'll be expanding your alliance. So taking your first territory will start generating resources based on, the icon here. This one generates metal. This one generates food. Uh, this one over here generates energy. So you'll buy different or take over different territories, and they'll generate more and more resources based on their level. But the ones that are higher level, like fives and sevens, they take more materials to build in the first place. So early game, you really want to try to hit as many ones as you can and try to do the fives and sevens sparingly. But you also have to plan in the other thing you're going to need to plan for when you're taking your territories is, if you're the only alliance in the zone, you're going to need to take all these territories, right? Um, and you'll have the option to start taking these energy storage locations in the landing zone, which unlock after I think like 4 or 5 days. So you'll need to like kind of spider work your way to each of these in the first couple days and create a network, right? So that you can, when they unlock, you can attack them all and take them. So these energy stations in level one are very, I would say that they should be very easy for any decent sized alliance that has a regular members and activity. So that how these happen is once they've unlocked and you can engage in combat with them, you'll click on it as the alliance leader or an officer, and you'll click the occupy button, and it will start an occupation timer. And again, the more troops you have in the area, the faster that will go down. And once it's officially occupied, you have 15 minutes to kill on this energy station, these four behemoths. So the howler, the two lashers, or the two howlers, the lasher and the reviver. Um, you have 15 minutes to kill them. And then if you can do that, then you gain control of the station. And each of these stations has a particular buff. So this one is troop defense or energy defense is plus 2%. So that means all of your formations for every member in the alliance gains a 2% energy damage defensive buff. So once those 8s are conquered, a couple days later, there's I think 3 in each region. One of these 10s will open, and these are called regional outposts. Same process. You get your guys to join up there, and then you hit occupy, and the occupation timer starts. And then once it goes down, even though you see that there's 5 around this one, you still only have 15 minutes to kill all 5. So by this time, hopefully your alliance is more established, you have more active members, um, and you can go from each to attack. Now, a basic thing I like to recommend to save time is try to get all your as many guys as you or as many people players as you can in this area between two of them, right? So you can mark this one as first, this one as second, and when this one's done being killed, they can just flip around and attack that one. I would discourage splitting your alliance up unless you are an absolute powerhouse alliance where you have everybody is online, everybody is highly active, and you've got, 70 people to split into two. I'd say you probably want at least 25 people on this one to have decent results. So if you have more than 25 active people on, you can split them up and work on 2 at a time. But again, highly discourage it unless you know you've got the activity to back it up. That's the next item that opens, and once those are taken, I believe they give buffs as well. Let's see what we get from this one. Yeah, so these all give the same buff. They give a training speed buff, I believe. I'm going to check the other one, but I think that's the case. Yeah, so they all give a training speed buff. So while the energy storage stations all give a different combat style buff, the regional outposts only give a training speed buff, which increases the rate at which you regenerate your troops. So once you've moved out of A1, the first expansion is the B areas will open, B1, 2, and 3. The gates will still be locked. You can go through them for another day after that. But once these open, if you've done your alliance research, which is very important, you'll be able to put down your hot zone headquarters, and you want to put that as close to the gate as you can on a 7. I did it here, which was obviously a mistake. At the time, I wasn't quite sure and I didn't know. I should have put it here because we would only been one away. Here I had to touch it twice. I think I had to get this one and this one to touch the thing, or this one. So you want to do it as close as possible so you don't have to spend more resources to get it. And I usually, the last day or so before this is due to open, I stop taking territories over here so that I can stockpile so that we can take these right away. And then after that, like I said, the day after that, the gates will open. They will unlock for you to conquer. Now, you don't get anything for conquering the gates. They just provide passage and can link your territories between the two zones. So it doesn't cost anything to try to take this one, unlike the other territories. They take the resources. The gates are free to take. The outposts and the energy stations are free to attempt. It does not require payment of resources. And then once the gates are opened, then you can start going through there and do that. The next step after that is the 12 stations over here, like 12 or 14 days in, these Grodd experiment sites will open. And then a couple days after that, which on this server has not happened yet, the Aerospace Control Center opens. So as you can see, these have 6. The ones before that had 5. These have 7, and they're stronger. So again, you're going to need to have a bigger alliance with more active players. But I will point out a very important point. We have figured out that you can get help with these. So if you are allied with another alliance, they cannot initiate the occupation. You have to do that because whoever does the occupation is whoever gains control of it at the end. But you can have another alliance help you kill these things once you've done the occupation. So you can just have them standing ready and they can like attack these 3 and you guys can attack these 4 or however you want to divvy it out. And you can help take each other's control centers and experiment sites and stuff like that. So that is a cool thing we learned, and I do like that. After that opens, the same process will happen for the core. The core will open, but the gates won't. So you'll have to have done the research to put the core headquarters down, and then link your territories. Like I mentioned earlier. And then the day after, the bridge will open. And then the only thing left at that point is, again, there's more of those like 14s. There's like a 16 and an 18 in here. So there's some 16s scattered around. And then I think the center is an 18. And that is obviously the last and final item that you have to conquer. And that takes the most time for it to unlock. But the combat usually, it progresses in the same pattern. Things will start unlocking with time. And you just need to plan accordingly. So that covers the map and how to engage with all the items on the map. I hope you found it helpful. All right, this segment is going to be briefly covering gate combat and the best tactics that I've found that work well when you're trying to engage an enemy at the gate. So due to kind of a randomness of the map, well, I guess not random because the devs obviously designed the map. But each gate kind of has a different layout. So you may have to tweak your strategy to the design of the gate area. But they all have one element that kind of works that I've found. I found that creating a kind of a dam that creates a kill box tends to work. So like having all your troops like right here, so that if something comes through the gate, it gets killed by everything all at once. And because that's a choke point, that's the defective strategy. The only hindsight to this, like I said, is the design of the map. So this one's a little funky. So you could do like this instead of not really flat, but kind of an angled one. Create a same kill box. But then it's open more on this side, so enemies would try to tend to go over here. So like I said, it's variable, but that's the general idea. Now, gates have a unique property where when a unit is inside the gate, let's say, they're not clickable. You can't click on them to attack them. None of that. So that is something you need to keep in mind. Units, I haven't figured out how to get my units to stop in there, but I have seen people get their units to stop in there. So if they're in there, they're essentially untouchable unless you click nearby and put your troops on auto attack, which sends them there, and they'll auto engage anything that engages them. I have not seen them auto engage nearby targets. It just auto engages if you're attacked. Basically, what I'm saying is if you're trying to control an area, get as much troops as you can inside the gate if you can figure out how. Because once they're in there, they're untouchable. um, so that is another method. So like I said, all these gates are different. I'll just show you a couple of them. So there's different designs. So basically the dam idea works here, and this side's really best because there's a long funnel. You can create a really good, choke point and a good kill box and a good dam. Um, and then up here, not quite as good, but it still works, especially on this side. Again, the advantage falls to this side. You'd think they'd make, the advantage better on one side or the other, but not on both sides at the same edge of the map. But to each his own. An arc here would be absolutely deadly because anything comes through, everything gets hit. Because it's almost, perfect arc there, perfect arc there. Here, it's more of a slow arc. So if I put troops here, they can't see all the way to here. I'd have to cut it so that it's like right here. So we have a smaller arc, which means less troops to potentially engage in the kill zone. So each gate is different. Depends on how you want to go about it, but that is the general gist of base combat, and I'm not going to go into full detail in this video. I'll save that for another video, which you'll see at another date or time. So we're going to move on to the next segment. In this segment, we're going to talk about how to increase your march size. So with Project Entropy, one of the main governing bodies that determines your troop effectiveness and power is how many troops you can have in a formation, right? So we're going to go into the formation here. As you can see, we call them, when they're in a mech, they're mech operators. When they're in the tank, they're tank drivers. And when they're in an aircraft, they're aircraft pilots. Basically, it's all the same thing. It's troops. It's your army, so to speak. So you start out at roughly like 2,000 or something like that, maybe a little less for each year formation. But the things that can boost your troop count for each year formations, and they are individually. It's not, there's a few things that increase it for all formations, and there's things that increase it per hero. So we'll start with the easiest thing to do, and it's a per hero. So let's say for this hero, we go into battle station, and we're going to go into Hannah. Now, she is level 32. I cannot upgrade her because my hero upgrade setter is not high enough to go to the next level. But every level that a hero goes up, the troop capacity increases. So if I were to reset her, I'm not going to do it because this is one of my main heroes. But she'll reset down to like 2,300 or something troop capacity. So every time you increase your level, it goes up by like 100 or something like that. Um, so that is the main way, and you get the experience to upgrade her, which is these are the experience chips. To upgrade her, you get those from your dailies. All right. So you can get them from other things. I'm not going to cover each one of them. You'll figure it out when you play. But these little swarms, the scorpions and stuff that are on the map, um, they drop experience. Occasionally, you'll get it's like an event on the world after like 2 weeks, I think. We just ended it. It was out there for 2 days, but the event will say that there's scavengers on the map, and to kill them, they give slightly more experience per hit, but less. I still haven't figured out building material. Okay, so that's what these are called. So hitting the scavenger guards give you more experience relative to the swarms. Um, so let me actually, the max Grodd Swarm. Oh, and that's how you do it. You just do search. You can either physically see them on the map, or if you don't see one, you hit the search icon. And I'm looking for a swarm, and every day this number climbs. The max level you can get up to 20. At 20, it stops. So at day one, I think you can go up to 6. So 6 is the starting level. And then on day two, at reset at 00 UTC, it increases to 7. And then you can attack a level 7. And then 8, 9, 10, you get the picture. So as of right now, I can hit a 20. So we're going to search. Now, if it doesn't see it on the map and you don't see it on the map, it's just going to create one for you. It's like, hey, here, I found one, go hit it. The game doesn't care. It's not going to send you on a 10-mile march to hit one of these damn things. It's just going to create it, you can hit it, and move on. Um, Now, this does create it on the map, so other players could technically hit it before you do. So if you are going to hit it, go hit it. Now it's not costing you anything to search it and put it on the map, so it's not like you're losing anything. But it's annoying when somebody yanks your stuff, right? So go hit it, and as you can see, a level 20 gives you 15,000 experience tokens and 65 building materials. Now, what we were talking about earlier, the scavenger guards, they give you a better ratio of experience to building materials. So they'll give you less building materials, but they'll give you more experience. There's also things that can give you the experience, which you go in that little radio dish thing. Um, hopefully, I've got one more left, but there's these bosses that basically start at 1 on the first day, and then every time you hit and kill one, it goes up a level. These things are super easy. Even with my worst formation, I can still kill these things, and it's like level 60 something. But for these, the bonus, you get wafers, but the physical act of killing it, here, good, it generated another one. Okay, so every day when it finishes its like cycle of 4 or 5 of these, the last one will give you a yellow crystal, which those are the things you need to increase or to biohack your hero, um, which I believe we covered uh, earlier or we'll cover future. So you can go to it, and like I said, it's usually just going to spawn it on the map near wherever you are. And don't worry if you've got, um, let's say this on the map, and then you teleport somewhere else, it will just respawn somewhere near you um, when you teleport, so you don't have to worry about that. But anyway, so level 65, I click on it. You see, this gives me 14 and 60. So it gives me about the same amount as what a level 20 would give me. Okay, it actually 65, 60. So it's giving me less building material. Now I think that goes up with level. So once I get to level 100, it's going to give me a bunch more or a little bit more. Relatively, they're about the same as swarms. So the scavenger guards give you more experience. But those are the ways to get experience chips to level up your hero, which increase its march capacity. Now you have to do that for every hero. Um, so there are instances where you will want to save and focus on one particular hero. Now, I don't have the luxury of doing that in this particular playthrough because I'm trying to get to level 20 first, which I'm close to. I'll explain that in another section of this video. But this hero in particular, you would want to be your highest level hero. G.SKILL with Fallout as a mech and really any weapon, but I've got nano repair in it. This thing's friggin' unbeatable. I mean, it is like 10 on 1, but this formation is nuts. It regenerates health like nothing else. This is my go-to. Like, I'll send all 5 of these out, and he'll be the only one left, and I'll just have to send him home. So his skill, I'm trying to remember where it is. Jailbreak Regular's Redemption. Or no, I think it's Fallout's ability. Sorry. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, so Fallout, the mech, each attack, you have a 20% chance to inflict Fallout effect on a target. If the target already has an affected by Fallout, then Fallout will repair itself based on 1.5% of the vehicle's combat unit capacity. So basically what it's saying is that it will repair itself to a certain percentage of your total march size. So the higher you have the march on this particular formation, the more effective his skill is. So when I first get to 20 and I start building that hero center up, this will be the first hero I dump all my saved points into to get him sky high as I can. But that's how you get experience for heroes to level them up, and that is one of the main ways to do it. The other way to do it is with one of the sorry, I went to the wrong menu. One of the buildings that you can build later on. Where is it? Right here. So these 2 buildings, you build this one first, which is the lineup management center. Nothing really in here. We can kind of cover it maybe later in a building highlight. But this building, the Strategic Institute, once you build it, I think you can immediately take it up to level 4 or 5. And every time you upgrade this, it increases your march formation cap for every formation. So this is one of those that I was talking about that ups it for every formation. So if you look here, at level 1, it increases your formations by 100 each. Here, it increases them by 500 each. So why I'm trying to get to 20 is at 20, I can build level 6, which increases all my formations by an extra 200. So that's an extra 1,000 capacity, which is good. And see, it's requiring command setter 20. So that's another way to increase your capacity. And unless I'm forgetting something, I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 ways to increase your march capacity. If I forgot one, let me know in the comments, but I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 ways. Or I'm just forgetting it and I forgot to put it in the video. But either way, that covers this segment, increasing your march size. In this segment, we're going to talk about changing the regiment. So when you get to a certain level, I can't remember what level it is. So I think it's like 15 or something. You can build this building right here, which is the lineup management center, which allows you to do a couple different things. One of them is hero training, which basically means whatever your lowest primary hero is. So the system's always going to take your 5 highest level, and then the training, what it does, it just sets whatever heroes you put in this as at least a minimum that level. So they're not technically leveled up, but they are like trained, I guess, to that level. So if you had to use them, they would at least have a basic level of, in my case, 32. But there are some heroes that I obviously, because I don't have enough slots, that are locked out. So they're still at level 1. So these guys aren't in training, so they're still level 1. So that's like a free way of getting extra heroes to be at least at basic level. And where you could use that is what we're about to talk about, is the regiment or the lineup management. So the lineup management tool right here is used to manage, you can have 2 regiments at a time. So I make this my main regiment, right? And it's set. I can also have a second regiment lined up. I cannot share vehicles. So if it's assigned to Regiment 2, it can't be in Regiment 1, vice versa. Now, alternatively, you can have an arena lineup, and that can have duplicate. That can have, a hero and a weapon that's in another lineup. It doesn't matter, because that's just specifically for fighting in the arena. But how you use this and how you switch between main regiments, I'll give you a combat scenario. So let's say you send your troops out, and they die, and they're all being repaired, right? So, and later on, when you get higher marches, you're going to start getting to where it's like 7 to 10 minutes wait time for them to heal, and you don't want to wait that long. You want to send troops back out. So what you do is you go into your lineup management center, go into lineup management, and set your secondary regiment as set to main. It'll ask you OK, and then right here, you can hit this button, and this is the auto refill, and it refills the troops if you need it to. But you can do it at the main menu too, so it doesn't really matter. And then once it's set as the main regiment, that is what shows down here. So then these guys aren't injured, so they can go out and go to battle. So then you can send them out. So it's a very useful feature for keeping you in the fight while your other troops are being healed. And then when these die, obviously just go through the process in reverse, go back in here, set this one as main, hit OK, and now it's the primary, and then you can send them back out. Now the problem is everybody in the lineup has to be home for it to be swapped out. So you can't have 4 at home and 1 still out fighting and then switch the lineup. Everybody has to be home. But that is how you change the lineup. All right, this segment hopefully it's not going to take too long, but I did want to cover it because at least on my server, we're getting to the end of our first season, hope here in maybe 2 weeks or so. So people are going to start asking questions and trying to understand the end game. And I wanted to cover what happens at the end of the season. So this particular game is very unique in the respects that pretty much everything gets wiped. You start over. The alliances get teared down. The maps get redrawn. All your hero experience gets wiped out. They all start at level 1 again. And I think that's the main reason why we don't have tech in building times, is because it's designed to just be reset every season, and everybody has to restart from scratch, which is an interesting concept. I do like it. It had some drawbacks. I don't like doing the same stuff over and over again, but we'll go through and we'll talk a few things about that. The biggest thing, I don't want people to freak out. There are things that do stay, and you need to know what those are, and you need to know what leaves. That way you can properly prepare. But to figure out how to do that, or to get that information, you go into the store, and up here in the top left, there's this little glowing eye. You'll get this. And then it's Season Resets tab over here. It'll tell you everything. And we're just going to go through this list real quick, just so that you understand. Any drop pods that you have in your base that have not been opened will be kept at reset. Now, you do have a capacity of 60, so you cannot go over 60. But any drop pods that are in your base will be kept. The double bonus for coins purchased will be reset. So you want to spend those double purchase coins if you have them. Your just general amount of coins that you have, which is the gold, is not reset. So you don't have to worry about that resetting. The accumulated analysis to obtain legendary cards. I believe what that's referring to is what I was talking about earlier with you opening 80 pods, it gives you a free hero. So that progress resets at the beginning of the next season. So that does take some planning, because if you get to a point where you got 5 left and the season's over tomorrow, it may be worth it, if you have the goal, to go ahead and just buy 5 pods to have them opened and allow that to give you a free hero and reset, and then don't open any more pods. So you do want to kind of plan it so that you don't have a whole lot of progress in that thing at the end of the season. So if you're really opening pods slowly and you have, let's say, a week left on the server before it resets, and you open that thing and you get a free hero, at that point, I would recommend stop opening pods. Just save them for the next season. That way, you don't waste that progress. It's just an efficiency thing. And I'm big about efficiency. It does take some management, but it's doable. Limit the number of self-selected analysis. I'm not sure what that is. Oh, you know what I think that is? No. Okay, I think I know what it is. So the first one, the one I said isn't it it resets, is the one you just get generically. I think it gives you a free legendary hero every 20 pods that you open. I think basically, or in a regular interval. It's not a special like the other one that I was referring to. So that is what does not reset. And that's not really something you can. Trying to manage that is it'll be easier because it's only 20, I think, is the threshold. So same concept applies. You don't really want to have too much into it when the season resets. But it does look like limit the number of self-selected analysis. I think that self-selected means that's the one you get to pick. I'm not positive, but it sounds like that's the one that is 80 that you work your progress towards. I'm not going to take the risk. I might put like 1 pod in it at the end of the season and see if it resets. If it doesn't, then I know that works, at least from my first one. And I recommend that everyone doing that, unless I've come out with content since then clarifying. But it's always better to be safe. The beginners only Yukiko, that does not reset. That's a one-time offer. Once you have Yukiko, you have her. It's not a thing you have to buy every season. The life tree fund, the things you get from it, you keep, or it does not. I think what that means is it does not reset. So let's say you buy the life tree fund with the server having 5 days left, and it's a 30-day pack. It'll carry 25 days into the next season. I think that's what that means by keep. Base expansion plan, same thing. It's a purchase item. You keep all that stuff. But it says unclaimed rewards won't be given again. The supply contract, on the other hand, will reset. I'm not sure what that is or where that is, but whatever it is, it does not reset. So if you're familiar with the supply contract, you just need to know that it does not carry over to next season. All right. Foggy areas will reset, which basically means your base will go dark again. Your number of R2s will reset. It'll reset back to 1. Basically, it's like you're starting over from scratch again. Your base goes to level 1. Your heroes lose all their experience. You lose all your glowing territories. All your built buildings are demolished, except for the ones that are standard on base creation, the initial command center. Owned heroes to keep. So you do keep your heroes. Now, what you keep on your heroes is their specialties, their biohacks, and their ciphers. So all their little side skills and all the upgrades that you do for those are all kept. The only thing that's reset for heroes is their experience level. So you don't have to worry about that. So next season, theoretically, you will have a slight head start over where you started the season before, because those heroes will have advanced their cipher skills, and they could have been a bit biohacked, and like maybe last time they weren't biohacked. So you have an advantage in that aspect. Owned vehicles aren't going to reset. You keep any vehicles you get. You keep any weapons. Now the level of the vehicles, the things you use the wafers for, that will reset back down to either 1 or 0. Couldn't remember if it started at 0 or 1, but they'll reset down to base value. And I don't know why they say levels of vehicles and a vehicle level. It's the same thing. So they reset. You don't lose accessories or blueprints, like those gold things that say it's a fragment. You keep any of those you have, those don't get wiped out. Yeah, like I said, any owned weapons, you keep those blueprints. And like I did mention, level of buildings, they're all wiped out. Your number of reservists, the command center, is wiped out because it's not a building that's there on game startup, so it gets wiped out. It's the first building you build anyway. So, but your number of reservists is also cleared out, obviously, because the building's demolished. So you start again with the standard number of reservists. Any skins you've acquired, you keep, unless they've expired. You've used them and they've expired. Portrait frame, same thing. All those specialty customization skin things, same thing. So coins you keep, that's the gold, that's good. Vehicle fragments, which is, I told you, the gold things that, you get 20 or 50 of them and you can unlock the vehicle. Wild card, I'm not sure what that is, but whatever it is, you keep it. The fragments for the Centaurus, which so far I've seen is like an ultimate in-game vehicle. I don't have any information on it other than its elusivity is very intriguing and I want to know about it. But you keep those fragments, which, you keep all the other fragments, so why wouldn't you keep those? They just wanted to make sure that they specified that particular item because it's so valuable, probably. Trophy tokens are reset. So make sure you spend all your trophies for things that will keep through the season. So your energy splinters, which is the yellow crystals, are energy splinters. You keep those. So worst case, use your tokens, spend it on splinters, and then or spend it on pods and keep them for the next season. Behemoth plans get reset, so make sure you use all your behemoth plans. Make sure you use all your energy for swarms. You do not have teleport items do not keep, so you will lose all alliance transports or teleports. So it's a tough game because you never know when a war is going to break out and you want to stock up, but you also don't want to overstock and waste your tokens on something you may not ever need. So it's a tightrope. You gotta judge the health of your server as to how many teleports you think you're gonna need and if you need to stock up. That's why I like to, I buy them earlier rather than later. That way I'm not in a pinch later. And if I get to the point where I get comfortable, then I can use those currencies on other items. But all your building materials reset. That's the pink looking sheet things that we pick up from hitting swarms. Those get reset back to 0 again because the building starts over again. Most of the stuff self-explanatory. Again, we're just covering it for completeness. Interstellar tournament tickets. So that's the tickets to participate in the tournament. You get like an extra 1 or 2 a day for doing missions and dailies. So if you don't spend those, they will reset at the end of the season. Wafers get reset. Hero experience items get reset. We've already talked about that several times. All of your resources get reset back to 0 or whatever the base value is. If you have any star chips, which is the premium currency, you keep those obviously because it was a paid item. Returners stamina. Not sure what that is, but it's reset. That could be the swarm stuff, the currency to do the swarms, but I'm not actually positive. Experimental crystals. Those are used in the Newing laboratory. You see it slightly back behind here. Every so often using those things. Basically, they're pay to win items. They're things you get from special packs, and you can use them to try to pull a hero. If you have any of those, they stay obviously because they're a paid item. The level of your intel agency missions goes down back to default. It was either 0 or 1. So basically, you start that process all over again too when the season restarts. Progress in your Warfront resets, the Grod trials, all that stuff. All of that stuff gets reset. Your levels of your behemoths goes back to 1. Level of Grod goes back to 1. The behemoth bounty goes back to 1. Tournament ranks get reset. The friendliness level at your trader station gets reset. Your achievements gets reset. Conqueror tokens get reset, and your alliance's rating gets reset. Obviously, because I'm told, I have not confirmed yet because actually hasn't happened, but I'm told that the alliance actually disbands at the end of the season. Like it breaks the alliance completely. So everybody that comes back in will have to reform. But the game does track your total sign-ins. So basically your daily sign-in tracker, that thing, that keeps your progress. So if you're on day, 37 of signing in, it will resume where it left off when the next season starts. Your growth missions reset, all the missions reset, all the mail gets reset, it all gets cleared out. All your collected coordinates, your markers. Again, the alliance gets disbanded, so all the alliance tech gets reset, the rewards, the store, the contributions, the trophies. So that's why you want to spend that stuff before the season ends. The map gets reset. Everyone gets obviously pulled off of it. So you don't come back with a new season where you're at. It resets back to just the landing zones being available and you getting popped down as soon as you log in for the first time. And then your map and strategic location. So yeah, pretty much everything to do with the map gets reset, all the markers, all that good stuff. That is the last item. So again, that's where you can find it, is in the store on the eye. You can pull that up and read it all yourself to better understand it. But that is what happens at season reset. So I really wanted to make sure people know what happens at system reset so they know what to expect. I hope that was helpful. All right, this segment is going to be dedicated to resources, how to get them, and how to use them in a general efficiency. So the resources in this game are very simple. It is food, energy, and metal. You also have wafers, gold, and credits. And then you have your trophies and your alliance currency. So, but the basic resources, food, energy, metal, are generated a couple different ways. They are generated by your buildings that generate that particular item: metal, solar plant for energy, and food depot for food. If you have the life tree pass, it converts it from a button you have to click to collect every day to just a general, flow of resources hourly, so you don't have to manage. It's a quality of life improvement for those that invest in that. Another way to get resources is to these things on the map or on your in game in the city. They show up twice a day, and you can send your little robots over to get them. And it's not going to give you a whole lot, but it keeps things coming in. Now you usually get about 10 of them or so. I've already done a clearing, so I only had 3 left, but you can get resources from that. The wafers are used to level up your vehicles. So you do the research and increase the level. So that's what the wafers are used for. The only other way to get the main game resources are in the trade station. Going into the black market, you can basically, so buying like one of these is you're buying 10,000, you're basically buying 10,000 food. Now that may cost 9,000 energy to buy that 10,000 food because it's a 10% discount, right? So most people break these kind of things down in an efficiency. Metal is more, I would say, valuable than the other two, but you need everything. And if it's giving you more for one than the other, I don't worry about it. I just buy it. As long as it's a resource cost, I just buy it. Because another thing with buying them is it increases your level with the trader, which increases the quality of items that you get and then the discount. So basically, if it has a food or a resource cost, I just buy it. But this is one way. If you are really close to building a specific building and you just want to finish, you can, if it's selling any of those resources, you can just buy those. Let's say I needed food, I would just buy those, and that would give me an influx of food to help me finish building, but I hadn't extra metal and energy. All right, and then the last way to get resources is to attack the behemoths on the map. All right, so these, like right now we're in a bunch of level 9s and 10s. So you have to start at level 1 on these things, and you have to kill level 1, then level 2, level 3, level 4. You kind of get the story there. Unless, let's say you join the game late and the Alliance has already unlocked the ability to join as a party to attack these things. Once the Alliance has killed enough swarms and behemoths, they'll gain the ability to join up on levels 1 through 8. So on a 1 through 8, let me see if I can find one. I don't think there's a whole lot up here. There you go, there's a 7. So you click on it and do invite, and it'll basically send its coordinates to Alliance chat, and it's saying, hey, I want to do this one together, and everybody can send their troops up here, and then they can attack it. But attacking these things, as you can see, will give you resources. Now, if this item is within your territory and your alliance has the research done, you will get a boost. So it's giving me 10% extra for attacking it since it's in my territory. So I'll get 130,000 plus 13,000. And now each of these behemoths, there's 3 different types of behemoths, and obviously there's 3 different types of resources. Any type can have any resource. So it's just kind of like a random assortment. And that's just the way it is. So you can attack any one of these to get any particular type of resource. You just have to look at it and see what it's going to give you, and then you want to attack that one. But you can see it from the main menu. It has the icon here that shows that it's going to give you food. And that is the main ways to get food, and they're the only ways to get food, because this game is severely gated behind resources, which makes the game very free-to-play friendly, which means all the money spenders, they're not gaining base levels and building massive buildings very easily, because we're all gated behind the same influx of resources. The only thing that influence their rate of growth is their formations. So they can spend their way to maxing out their formations if they wanted to. And we have a guy on this server that absolutely did that. He's got pretty much the best heroes for season 1. He's maxed them all out. He's got all their vehicles and weapons and maxed all those out as well. So that allows him to hit higher level behemoths and get more resources faster. So that is one way to kind of speed up the process, but it's indirect. You have to, level up your formations to attack higher level ones that give you more resources. But that's the general flow and the function of how to gain resources. I hope that was helpful. Thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you liked what you saw, please click the subscribe button on the screen and hit that notification bell if you want to see more content when I post it. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.